My name is Jim Runyan, and I'm at TCC in the Student Union Auditorium, and I'm watching boxes, which I haven't seen in a long time. Boxes meant a lot to me for a lot of reasons, but I'm going to start out just with saying that seeing this after a few years really jogged some memories. For one thing, I have a mustache. Lee wanted me to grow a mustache, which I never really do because I look like some kind of criminal usually whenever I try and grow any kind of facial hair. But I did, and it just so happened, this is beside the point, but it just so happened that I needed to have my driver's license redone at the time, so my driver's license now has a mustache. I was playing the professor or the teacher who didn't really understand the needs and aspirations and dreams and problems of one particular student. And it was good for me because I can relate to that from my youth, actually. So it was a great experience. There are a lot of things about working with Lee that drew me to it. I had seen Lee in action, and actually I was teaching a class in improvisation for theater at the time, and we were on a chapter called Say Yes. And I had been approached by students before to work on some of their film projects, and I just automatically said no. I don't have time. Well, I didn't really need an excuse. It was my natural response was to say no. This chapter, and this was out of a book by Patricia Ryan Madsen. Actually, I think she was quoting Keith Johnstone. But it was a chapter, Say Yes. And basically it said, people who say no are rewarded by their safety, and people who say yes are rewarded by new experiences and adventures. And Lee approached me just at the right time, and I said yes. And I'm so glad I did because it has continued to open up doors and opportunities for me. It's made me think differently, for one thing, about opportunities. And so I said yes. And we started filming boxes, and it was kind of a new experience for me. I hadn't really done any film work. I was an extra in The Outsiders, but that was a very long time ago. A couple of things that I admire about Lee. First off, he finishes projects. I have known a lot of other people who had ideas, and mainly students. No, I'd say mainly students, that's not true. A lot of other people, teachers, professors, who have these great ideas but don't really follow through. And what I had noticed about Lee is he did follow through. During the filming of boxes, I learned that he's very inventive and creative about what he does. And he had made, for instance, a homemade dolly to shoot some of these scenes with, which out of nothing. Lee was very creative in what he did. There were a lot of scenes in boxes that I enjoyed immensely. One, for instance, was in a closet, and this was in the room that I was teaching in, and it was basically a very small triangular closet. And as I recall, one or more of the students had locked me in there. And Lee had given me the direction to basically act as if I were claustrophobic, which was easy for me because in a sense I am. I've got a lot of phobias actually. But so I went crazy, and Lee was in the closet with me filming, and it was great. It was a great scene. The final scene where we're chasing Art as he's making his getaway, that was also great. I was working with a student that I had directed in a number of shows, Charles. I can't remember Charles's last name, but he played a security officer. Also Justin Tomlinson, who in this film was a student, but then in a later film that I worked with Lee was my son. So boxes, in a sense, opened up doors for me all along the way. After boxes, I appeared in a couple of other films that Lee directed and wrote Shards of Glass, which was great because my wife played my wife. Justin played one of our sons, and one of my other students, Cody Wyatt, played another one of our sons. So my wife still refers to them as our sons. And so by saying yes to Lee this first time for boxes, got me in the habit of saying yes.